We got ourselves streams back up and running with my man Christman gonna be up first for the team one. At the ready with that Destro. Destro got buffed by 30%, and I can't believe we haven't seen a single Destro since the buff, man. I'm excited to see what's it gonna look like. Redguard is gonna be up next versus him. It's gonna be on Dead Survival Hunter trying to go for fade death as the Cannonballs go flying in. That is Infernal Mortal is gonna set him back behind the pillar. Big conflagrations for Christman with an incinerate. Actually, mad damage out of that man. The incinerates, Chaos Bolts, and I think it was it conflagrates? It might have been conflagrates. No, Shadow Burns have gotten buffed by 30% mad damage. Redguard may be in a bit of trouble. Made to go for a big immunity. I don't know if he's got anything at all though. Pulling his bed back, just melting to the immolation aura. The Inferno goes in for a quick slap. Just slaps him in the cheek. Over on team one, we got ourselves Athaman in the back up. We got ourselves Fratel gonna be first up. Second up is Arcane Mage. We got Darley as the Frost Mage with Sarah Y as a evoker. For some reason, I looked at it. Sarah Y, I was gonna say Survival Hunter, but he just got the same mog. Chaos Bolt flying in for Kreisbad, Blink for Fratel, trying to go for a bit of a barrage. Needs to give himself a bit of damage, but Kreisbad already making sure to get himself some damage cracked into the Hellbar Fratel with a couple of Chaos Bolts. Going to be a big burst out of Fratel. Does Kreisbad have a way out? Is going to go for a port. Has the Reflect in case he needs to. Trying to see if he can swap on to a Fellow Hunter instead of the Succubus. Mortal sent in. Barrage by Fratel. Got himself a bit of damage. Kreisbad with a Reflect, but it's going to be a knockout for Fratel. Trying to see if he can bypass the Reflect. Dodging the stun by Kreisbad for just a second. Does go for a Barrage. Barrage is going to give him plenty of mobility. Line of sight in the main pet. Going to be a Ring of Fire. Interrupt him on fire damage. Kreisbad going for the mad gauge to huge distance. Discovers the whole entire zip code of the arena. Oh my goodness, look at you, just went from one side of the pillar to the next. That is so far. But Fratel go behind the pillar for just a second, sitting down, trying to give himself as much food as they humanly can. Kreisbad trying to go for an approach, hoping to maybe get himself a proper opener. Slow onto Fratel. Fear before the polymorph comes out is going to be able to crack in some damage. Knock out by Fratel. It's going to be a big Chaos Bolt flying in out of the portal. Oh my god, wait, when they buffed the Chaos Bolt, did they also buff the portal Chaos Bolt? They may have. Hold on, every time you open up a portal with your portal, what is that? Artifact weapon back in Legion. What's the portal ability, chat? You guys don't know it. But to be ultra time for Fratel could be the bad spot. Actually, maybe execute. Does himself with the execute prevention with the ultra time, but maybe Kreisbad if he goes for big damage. Definitely needs to. Oh, I was gonna say maybe cancel the ultra time, but no, not gonna cancel the ultra time. Actually, instead, just gotta go for her. Stun around the corner. My god, that was actually so close. But every time you summon a portal, it's either going to be Shadowy Bolts or a green bolts. But then there's the Chaos Bolts, and the Chaos Bolts scale with your Chaos Bolt, and then buffing Chaos Bolt, I think may have buffed Nether Portal. Nether Portal? Isn't Nether Portal the same name for like the Demonology Warlock ability though? Look where you summon the Pit Lord and the entire army. Gonna be a polymorph reflected onto Fratel. Super unfortunate. Is gonna try to go for a breath of the Kreisbad as he got himself more ports up already. Got himself a mobility, Mortal Coil. Get a set of Fratel. Does go for a quick interrupt. Try to go for a polymorph for the Kreisbad with an Arcade Surge. Does he have himself a good go? Interrupted by the main Fellow Hunter Pet. Knocking it back for just a second. Does he have himself a good go right now? He needs himself the proper go if he wants to be able to take down Kreisbad. Fratel trying to go for a bit of images with an ultra time to cover himself in case he ever did slow. Kreisbad knows he wants to be a little bit more careful with how much damage he really puts into Fratel. Fratel trying to reposition, but that portal is going to put in some punishment into you and chase you afterwards. Oh my god! Oh, the Shadow Birds right after as you got low. Unless you have an Ice Block or an Invis for that one, that's a tough one. And let's see, he did have massive Is. But I don't know if that lets you escape the portal. Gonna be Athaman letting Kreisbad swap off to the Succubus pet, putting him in a good position. Gonna be that, not a Chaos Bolt portal, but like a green normal portal with an Inferno coming down. Stunner to Kreisbad could be, Athaman could be in a real tight spot. Athaman with a bubble, trying to see if he can charge out towards Kreisbad. Does the man have mobility? Maybe gateway? Does have the gate. Athaman is gonna either have to find a way to use mobility to break over to Kreisbad, or rotate even more defensives, trying to go for a little bit more cast. I don't know if he's got a judgment that helps with dispel it, but does drop super low in health. The man may be in a bit of trouble, has to slow down, needs to generate a little bit of holy power from the Infernal. At 90% dampening, your healing isn't all that reduced, but man, he may still have a hard time here fighting through Kreisbad. Got himself the Battle Mass Trick in case things really go rough. That's going to be a Succubus put over to the side, try to see if he can maybe pull Athaman away from the pillar. As long as Athaman is aware of where the Succubus is, maybe has an interrupt ready for it, he could potentially bypass the damage Kreisbad can set up. Succubus holding him in place for one bolt, second flying in, gonna be Shield Defenders, barely holding off of that one, gonna be lay on hands with the Reflect up for Kreisbad. Athaman needs to be very careful, blind onto Kreisbad, no Succubus to stop him. Does see himself a go. Wings at the ready. Maybe a stun onto Kreisbed. Does have a trick with a port to follow. Atham trying to see if he can catch up. Using wings in order to give himself a little bit of survivability. Mortal Coil sending him in the other direction. Shadow Fury right after. Has a Rachel for it. Trying to see if he can dodge the fear. It looks he was able to avoid it. Kreisbed does set up a portal that is slowly pelting away at Athaman. It isn't doing the most amount of damage, but it is able to continue pelting at him while he's seduced by the succubus. Incinerate around the corner. Atha just taking big hits of damage back to back to back. Can he somehow bypass the Warlock metas? Because Destruction just got so much raw damage now. Every chaos bolt you get to cast off is just valuable. And the Incinerate to send out, which can be instant cast, and Shadow Burns for executes are a lot more deadly than before. Succubus, as he got him stun locked, that is super unfortunate with the fear right after. Does he have any outs at all? Is going to try to see if he can just run away from Kreisbed. It's going to be instant cast out of the Warlock. Does he have him here? Trying to go for Shadow Burns. Oh, does end up singeing right into the soul of Athaman. Just put his hands spiritually through the man's chest and just snuffs out life. Going to be Saraway up next. Got himself Shroud. This is where you want to push in. No CC can be done by Kreisbed, the Warlock. With the Reflect right now, Kreisbed trying to mitigate the damage as best as possible. Going to be a Shadow for Saraway. It's going to go for the beam, but the Warlock looking to break that beam with that distance. With portals to open, one portal second. It's going to be a lot of damage from Saraway to take. Try to see if he can play defensive. At least try to avoid Kreisbed as best as they can. Try to go for mobility to get out of that stun with the fear right after. As it's going to be yet another cast, but loaded in bad damage with the Disintegrate. But what this cast would do it. Reflect down for Kreisbed. I think breaks the beam of Disintegrate. Succubus is here around the corner, but it's super DR'd. As Saraway looking for a bit of recovery. Does have Kreisbed super low on health. Big Cannonball sent in super quickly with yet another portal. Is that a Cannonball portal? It is not. Do they have big damage? Disintegrate to follow. Got him some big procs. So Kreisbed having to go defensively. More to call at Saraway is super low on health. Could be pretty deadly right now. And it's going to be a big board. Does he have the instant cast needed? Try to go for Disintegrate counter offensive. Doesn't have an interrupt. It's going to be a few Cannonball. Oh! With Darley gonna be last one left over in team 2. The Darling Darley. Try to see if they can make the Frost Mage work. Kreisbed is super low on health. He does have Reflect coming back up. If he can time the Reflect at the right time, he may be okay. I think Darley might just have him. Does swap out to the pet to get the proper interrupt. Gonna be a breath onto Kreisbed. Definitely needs to make sure he got the Reflect on lockdown. That's gonna be potentially big damage. Does go for a port. Try to save that Reflect for until a little bit later. He's gonna go for a Reflect. As a Glacier Spike trying to come out. Darley almost spiked himself. Kreisbed trying to go for big mobility. Dark Pack to follow. Smallest shield in the world though. Darley has plenty of survivability. He still got another Ice Bucket if he needs to. Gotta be trying to freeze Kreisbed. Is trying to interrupt him when somebody on the first new pet. It's gonna be a big Ice Nova. Kreisbed may be in trouble. That's a Reflect. Oh, wall of the air, but Darley does it. A piercing right through him. Well done by Kreisbed, but Darley had to just stick in there and take him out. With Huge Buttman gonna be up next. Try to go for a couple of ice senses towards Huge Buttman. That's going to be Ring Frozen Orb to follow. Has himself the big go with the Glacial Spike, but I don't know if he's going to be able to really pull it off. Super extremely low on health. Unless he goes maybe for like an Invis or something. All the time last second, but a Lava Burst takes him out. The burst out of Mage is fantastic, but the consistency of his Shaman is hard to deal with. My man Cries walking in with them Destro Warlock buzz, dude. Destro looking good. That damage though. That's still done. Warlocks. Yeah, they're strong, man. They're strong. Destro is nowhere near as strong or as popular as Demo in PvE.